I was expecting someone to join.
Jai Gajanan, Ganeshaya Namastubhyam, Herambaya Ekadantine, Swanandavasine Tubhyam, Brahmanaspataye Namaha. So we were discussing about Bharata. He became a deer and he was so trapped in that animal body. But he, because of his spiritual development in his previous lifetimes, and because he was in the forest near sages and saints ashrams, he didn't forget his previous lifetime. So when he remembered, he traveled to Pulaha's ashram, and there, luckily, Brahmadeva himself comes. Brahmadeva is the father of Pulaha. So he comes to Pulaha's ashram, and uh, he speaks on the subject when Pulaha asks about what is that which gives us peace and everything. So, in answer to that, he's explaining various aspects of the creation, and he's also explaining about Sankhya Brahma, Sankhya philosophy. While explaining the Sankhya philosophy, he says in Sankhya philosophy, because people are not able to imagine that the Supreme has become this whole world, the Supreme himself is existing in these forms. So people have made a distinction. Okay, God is separate, we are separate. So there is a Purusha and Prakriti. Purusha, that is consciousness, and Prakriti, that is the Jiva. So they have separated this, and then still they believe, although they have made this duality, still they believe there must be somebody who has created. Not that they don't believe, there is someone imagined in whatever way. And we have so many gods whose drawings, whose forms are all created, whichever according to the imagination, all the sculptures and everything with all kinds of ornaments and everything according to the period of times. There are some places where Rama is depicted without any, or just like a hunter. There are statues, pictures of Rama as a hunter, as just any ordinary human being. Whereas in some places, as a king with all the mukut and all kinds of ornamentation and this. Anyway, so it is depending upon the artist of the respective periods. So Sankhya philosophy did believe in the Ishvara, but then they said, okay, that is for the final, when after death and whatever, when we don't. But for as far as living is concerned, Vedas will be our guide. Whatever is written, Veda Vyaka, that is only is Paramodharma. So they believed in that Sankhya, they believed in a Sankhya Brahma, which is the Vedas. Veda Vyakya, the Akshara Brahma. That is the words, the syllables itself are Brahma, words coming from the mouth of the Lord. So since the same Brahma is the originator and also not the originator, the yogis do not believe in that. The yogis, however, they didn't believe in this Sankhya philosophy because they knew that even the unmanifest, which is not seen, that also is from that same Supreme. So the yogis didn't accept this Sankhya philosophy where there is a duality. So then Brahma goes on to explain Swananda Brahma. Swananda Brahma is one who is established in him, in his own Ananda, Swa Ananda. That is, in the bliss of his own self. He doesn't need any external confirmation, validation for his own happiness. He is in his undifferentiated form. That is the totality as well as his own individuality. In some places, it is also he's also mentioned as Swasamvedya Brahma. That is self-knowing Brahma. He has the knowledge of everything. He's in his own self. So he doesn't need external knowledge, go externally for knowledge. So that is a Swasamvedya Brahma. It is an undifferentiated Sanyoga form. That is the knower, knowledge, and the bestower of knowledge. Everything is in that. Okay. The yogis mentioned that this distinction of Swasamvedya Atma form, the yogis still believe that this Atma form, Swasamvedya Atma, where the knower, knowledge, and the bestower of knowledge is in one person, still it is an obstacle, that it is a vigna. Why? Their undifferentiated aspect can be realized through yoga. Because even the undifferentiated from the supreme can be realized through practices of yoga. So this is how Brahma goes on to explain everything, the Sankhya philosophy, and what is beyond Sankhya philosophy, that which is followed or believed by the yogis, and what yogis practice to attain the Purna Brahma, Purna Shanti Yoga, which they attain through yogic practices. So Brahma is explaining all this, and he also explains buddhi. He also explains the various elements, tattvas that emanated from the Supreme, and he's explaining the the chitta vrittis, kshipta, vikshapta, mudha, and all that, and he's telling how that has to be overcome. And he also explains how buddhi is knowledge, but she is the place where Siddhi creates illusion. Siddhi is Maya. She creates illusion or enchantments, and Buddhi gets attracted to that. Buddhi gets attracted to that, and we try to acquire it. And intellectually, we have to discriminate. But without discrimination, if we get enchanted, we will get caught up in this Maya. And we will not get peace, because it is forever changing. It is forever changing and forming new forms and names. So then we'll get easily lost in it. So this was all this Brahma is explaining to Pulaha. Pulaha, and then Pulaha engaged in, after that Pulaha engaged in performing puja of Ganesha. Now he realized, yes, there is somebody called Ganesha. So he made an idol of Ganesha and started worshipping Ganesha. This deer, this Bharata in the form of deer, is living in this ashram of Pulaha. He listened to all this conversation, and he also then started observing this Pulaha and all the munis staying in that ashram, and how they were worshipping. So he also he used to go and sit there whenever there is any congregation, whenever there is any this puja. He used to sit there and outside near the door and then observe all these things. And he also started um, worshipping Manasa Puja, in the within its own self. Then one day when Pulaha was deeply absorbed in the contemplation of Ganesha for a long period of time, Ganesha manifested before him. So seeing Ganesha, Pulaha was ecstatic. He sang the praise of Vinayaka in choked with emotions. We just go through this Pulaha's prayer. It is also stotra, which we can use as a prayer for Vinayaka himself. नमस्ते विघ्नराजाय भक्तानां विघ्नहारिणे विघ्नदात्रे ह्यभक्तानां गणेशाय नमो नमः ब्रह्मणे ब्रह्मरूपाय निराकाराय ते नमः साक्षिणे सर्वसंस्थाय अनादिसिद्धाय ते नमः अनामयाय देवाय अप्रतर्क्याय महोजसे वक्रतुण्डाय वैतुभ्यं हेरम्बाय नमो नमः स्वानन्दवासिने तुभ्यं भक्तसंरक्षकाय च योगानां पतये चैव योगदाय नमो नमः नाना अवतार रूपाय जगदाधारय मूर्तये सुरासुराणाम् ईशाय सर्वगाय नमो नमः सर्ववन्द्याय वैतुभ्यं सर्वादौ संस्थिताय च सर्वान्त एकरूपाय मध्ये नानास्वरूपिणे आदिमध्य अंतहीनाय सृष्टिस्थितय अंतकारिणे अनंतोदर संस्थाय लंबोदर नमोस्तुते गजवक्त्राय वैतुभ्यं गजाकाराय ते नमः गजकर्णाय पूर्णाय गजानन नमोस्तुते मूषकध्वजरूपाय मूषकारूढरूपिणे पाशाङ्कुशधरायैव स्तुताय च विभूतिभिः चतुर्भुजधरायैव चतुर्वर्गमयाय च ब्रह्मभूतस्वरूपाय देहधारिं नमो नमः यं वेद वादिन् स्तोतुं वे यं वेदवादिनस्तोतुं वेदासाङ्गाश्च योगिनः शिवविष्णुमुखादेवा न समर्था भवन्ति वै तं कथं स्तौमि देवेशं योगरूपमयं प्रभुम् अतो वै प्रणमामि त्वां प्रसन्नो भव सर्वदा वरं मे देहि योगात्मन् तेन तुष्टो भवाम्यहम् तव भक्तिं दृढां दुण्डे व्यभिचार विवर्जिताम् एवमुक्त्वा मुनिस्तत्र ननर्थ प्रेम बिह्वलम् तं ससंयुक्त उवाच गणनायकम्. So here he has prayed, he prays, he describes the glory, he extols the glory of Ganesha. All you have taken so many forms. You yourself are beyond all forms. You are the Lord of all gods as well as asuras. Then you are the before the beginning, you are the middle, you are the end, you will be in the end also. So Gajavaktraya, or to the one with the elephant's tusk, I bow to you, I pray to you. If you are pleased with my stotra, bless me with complete steadfast devotion at your feet, and may I never lose devotion to you. Bless me like that, O Dhundi. So when he's praying in this manner, he extols Ganesha. Ganesha tells, yes, O Mahayogi, I grant that your devotion to me will be unwavering and will be steadfast and will bring you joy. Oh Brahmin, you will visualize me before you. Whenever you think of me, you will be able to visualize me in front of you, will be able to visualize me before you. So, this, when the divine manifests, it's an unforgettable event. Means it's an unforgettable, that picture will be firmly embedded in your mind. So, whenever even you just imagine, even ordinary people for us, even when we think of some incident in the past, we are able to recollect and picturize the whole thing as though it is happening once again. So, how much more impactful it will be when the Supreme Lord, means the whole light, that that is Ghana, that is you can say a ball of light stands in front of you, having a form. So naturally, it has terrible impact, lasts for a lifetimes. Almost you can never ever able to erase it from your mind. So that you whenever, even if you remember, you will be able to visualize me. You will have dharma, artha, kama, moksha, anything you desire, you will get it. And any human being who listens to this stotra or even reads it will be blessed with all happiness and will attain worthiness comparable to you. Almost they can, if they just listen also or read this stotra, they will be able to get that kind of devotion which like yours. So blessing like this, Mudgalacharya says, Ganesha blessed Pulaha and disappeared. So now Pulaha was still there. He was mesmerized by this vision and the prayer and the blessings. He stood there singing bhajans of Ganesha. Now, this deer, who was in the form, Bharata, in the form of the deer, he's got this vision of Ganesha. He also could see, he had eyes, he could only not speak or converse. He got the vision of that Ganesha, and with that vision, he closed his eyes and he meditated and he died. In that form, he died. Now, this Ganesha, this Pulaha, um, um, he felt that when he got this vision of Ganesha before he died, he realized, because he got this realization what a great mistake that he had done. He was a king in the kingdom, Bharata. He was a son of Rishabha. And forsaking that kingdom, he wanted to meditate, he wanted to undertake spiritual practices, and he had gone to the forest, made a hut near the river, and he was doing his dhyana, but dhyan batagaya. That in meditation, in that he was not focused. He was distracted by that deer, that pregnant deer, which fell into the water, and then going to save that fawn which had been delivered inside the water, and trying to save it. He had all the story happened. After that, he tried to save that fawn, and he started feeding that fawn, nourishing that fawn, and he got attached to that fawn. That fawn, when it became big and ran away with its clan, with the other deers, he couldn't bear the separation. So all this suffering which he had to undergo was because of his distraction and his attachment. So what he had wanted to give up when he was in the kingdom, the same thing he couldn't do when he is in the forest. So, wherever you are, if you are able to practice detachment, even though you may be surrounded by your family members, you have your own house, you have your all your comforts. Still, if you are able to just leave it at the drop of a hat, means you just can just let it go. You are not or indifferent to those things. Then you are as good as though you are in the vanaprastha, as though you are in the forest doing meditation and penance. That is why Janaka was called was almost he was a king, but he was considered as a yogi only, because even though he had the palace comforts, all people surrounding him, everyone to attend to him and everything. In fact, he had to wear all those ornaments and that kingly dress also. Still, he was detached. He was unaffected by anything. That is why he was a great yogi. He was a realized king. Even now, among the kings, among the saints, if we consider, there are 10 saints who are considered realized this gurus in the Kali Yuga, like Guru Nanak and Mao Tse, Lao Tse, not Mao Tse, sorry, Lao Tse, Confucius, Abraham, as Shirdi Sai Baba, um, uh, Muhammad, Jesus Christ, not Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ is an incarnation. Then Raja Janak. So all they are all considered as gurus, just like rishis. Vasishta Vishwamitra were there in those days, during times of Ramayana and all. But in this period, so, the present gurus, one of them is Raja Janak also. Now, remember Janak also, there are many Janaks. In that Janak dynasty, there are many Janaks. Okay, but Raja Janak was considered, who was Sita's father, who picked up Sita from the earth, who found Sita in a basket in the earth, when he went to, because in his kingdom there was famine, and so they said how to bring rain. So if the king only plowed he went to plow the land. So while plowing the land, he found this little girl, Sita. So so that is a different story. But then that Janak, so he was considered as almost like a rishi, even though he may be in the palace. So in this way, we end chapter 18. Bharata abandons. After that, after getting this realization, Bharata, when after seeing the Ganesha's form, he realizes his own mistake, where he went wrong. And in that thoughts, he was able to give up that body of that deer. And so he gave up that body of the deer, and he died in lifetime. And then he was again born as a human being. So that story we will see in the next session. So thus ends chapter 18 of the second part of the Mudgal Puran. We'll continue in the next. So take a nice deep breath and relax into your body. See that your spine is erect. Feet are firmly planted on the floor. Eyes gently closed. Bring all your attention to your breathing. Feel your breath. Go all the way deep into your abdomen. See that you are breathing in a rhythmic fashion. You can count 1 to 10 as you inhale, 1 to 10 as you exhale, in order to bring your breath into a rhythmic pattern. Feel the ground below your feet. As you breathe, as you breathe deeply, feel the breath and that the energy go all the way through your feet into the earth. You are connected to the earth. And draw the energy from the earth through your feet into your body. And let it travel upwards into your heart. Feel this motion of energy as you breathe right up to your feet. And as you exhale, this energy drawing in from the earth into you. Feel this circular exchange of energy between you and the earth. Just like the trees draw nourishment through the roots firmly planted into the soil. The minerals, water, and all the nourishment is drawn into the trunk of the tree. And with the sunlight drawn by the breathing pores of the leaves get exchanged through osmosis and nourishes the whole tree. So also the pranavayu that we breathe and the energy that we draw from the earth meet at the heart and gets circulated into the body along with the nourishment through the food that we eat. This is an entire ecosystem. One cannot exist without the other. And the carbon dioxide that we breathe is what is breathed in, which is taken in by the trees, and they let out oxygen for us to breathe. This balancing of nature goes on all the time. The water from the rivers, trees, rivers, streams, and seas evaporates to form the clouds during summer, and then they descend as rain. This rainwater stored in the soil is absorbed by the trees, becomes waters in the lakes and rivers for humans and animals. The plants give vegetables and fruits for the nourishment of all humans. When this ecosystem gets upset, when the minerals are mined beyond requirement, when the waters get polluted, when the atmosphere is flooded with the exhaust of automobile, this ecosystem gets disturbed. It cannot nourish one another. Human beings are a big contributing factor to this disturbance in the ecosystem. landslides due to excess inhabitation or too much vegetation, or constructing structures which loosen the soil results in landslides. Building structures beyond the capacity of that hill to bear, or the roads to, or dams for the rivers, results in floods. Too much heating beneath the ground results in volcanoes. Eruptions from the earth is seen everywhere, even in the oceans. We have laid cables from east to west for storage of data, for communication of data. The fire of the ocean gets ignited. Leading to huge waves rising meters above the surface and destroying the land. Disturbances in the ecosystem begins with disturbance within. When we are not balanced in our own energies, we begin to think in this manner. Our thoughts lead to exploitations of one thing over another. We want excess of one thing over another. This leads to exploitation of one aspect over the other, which creates imbalance. We have seen when we think too much, when we are overly engaged in planning, organizing things in our mind, most of the energy from the Swadhisthana chakra is used to the brain. So less is available for the pancreas to produce insulin. So it creates an energy imbalance resulting in diabetes, sugar, excess sugar in the blood, since the insulin production is reduced. So we have to inject insulin from outside. So this is one energy imbalance creating disease in the body. So if we extend this to the external world, producing beyond capacity, manufacturing more than necessary will result in cheaper availability of goods. Advantage. But where to dispose it? So you dump in other countries, resulting in the loss of employable activities in that country. China dumps its mass manufacturing of everything dirt cheap across the world. So those industries in the different countries are destroyed, or they have no profitable need for profitable engagement. The US has vast lands and produces vast production of grains, including advanced genetically modified, and that excess is going to be dumped on us. But what about our farmers? Will we be constantly having 80 crores people being receiving ration every day for the next forever? Isn't this an ecosystem imbalance? What if everyone, wherever they lived, manufactured, produced things for themselves and lived happily? Only exchanging that with which cannot be produced there, which needs to be exchanged, imported, exported. Where did things go wrong? It's the greed for more money, greater power, the need for control over others. In the process, they lose control over themselves. How much can we practice restraint? Self control begins with self knowing. Swasamvedya, self knowing. In that is Swananda, self bliss. integrate the energies within oneself through conscious knowing. And as we saw earlier, when we evolve, when we raise our or we expand to a larger, to cover a larger area from a clerk in the bank to that of a regional manager, when we have that kind of a position, at that level, what kind of restraint and self control do we exercise? So, as our thinking evolves to a global level, today almost everyone can think globally due to connectivity. So, the more is our responsibility to act in restraint. Everyone cannot earn 1 crore a month. It will lead to exploitation of the other. And then nobody knows what to do with all of that. It's imbalance. And then they call money sophisticatedly as energy exchange. Imagine your body having the voltage of 440. What will be the condition? We need to keep the energies in balance. Get rid of the excess energy for a healthy body and a healthy mind. For that, you need to be grounded. When you are grounded in touch with the earth physically, Mother Earth absorbs your excess energy and distributes it to where it is required. That's the inherent knowledge of the Mother Earth. Mother Earth is a living entity. Let's respect nature and all the elements, the earth, fire, water, air, and space, and just take what is required and leave the rest for the others. It'll make you healthy, wealthy, and wise. Bring all your attention to your Sahasrara, the fontanel bone on the top of your head. Nicely breathe in. Breathe in as though you're breathing in the pranavayu from the head into your body, nourishing yourself through this cosmic energy. And you feel yourself in tune with the world around you. You are just in the place where you are supposed to be. It's the perfect place for you. There is harmony in nature, in surroundings. Where you can be receptive to the instructions from nature as to what you are supposed to do. So be present, be in attunement with your environment. You will know what you are supposed to do. So, for that matter, wherever you are, be connected. Slowly wriggle your fingers and your toes. Rub your hands together. Cup your palms, place it on the eyes, and gently rub your face. And when you're ready, open your eyes.